Good girl.
Hey everyone, this is Paulie with Pollination. I did a video about 9 months ago. I guess it was the end of summer, maybe the beginning of fall. I think it was September, but anyway, it was this right here, making a chicken scratch box, and it turned out to be more than just a chicken scratch box, because for one, we wanted the goats to get in there, and the dog gets in there too, and everybody poops and pees, and they do their thing. They get chicken scratch around, and they dig for worms and roly-polies and other creatures in there. But we put leaves in it, and we put wood chips in it, but mostly leaves. And then any chicken or kitchen scraps would go in here, but then they would be eaten rather quickly. So really it's just carbon stuff. But along with the carbon stuff, when the animals get in there, I put perches up there, you can see. But the poop goes down, and then the dog really never poops in it. But anytime the goats poop or the dog poops, the chickens go straight to it. But we do have some of that urea in there, which is what I wanted. I wanted everything, all the carbon to break down and to get some good urea. So it's not so much on the urea because I've already smelled it, but we'll smell it again. We'll dig around. I'm going to take a couple of these sides off, probably about 3, and then just start scraping through it with the plow. And I'm going to use it for the garden because hopefully we'll find some worms, and where there's worms, it's pretty good. But if it's breaking down, it's really good too. I have some stuff. This is what I'm dealing with. But I've got a pile that I would always have over there because I'd muck out the barn and there'd be hay and poop, goat poop, all kinds of stuff. And because the chickens have access to it now, they used to stay over here in this paddocks, but now that they have access to it over there, I don't really have many worms. But that can easily change just by bringing everything out and then wrapping it with the tarp and keeping everybody out like I used to do. Anyway, I'm going to get started on this, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so I've removed the 3 sides. Really easy to do because these corner posts aren't in the ground, they're just above ground. So in theory I should be able just to scrape across the top of this, and then put it in my my wagon and haul it off to the garden. But we're gonna go digging through it and see what we can find. Now for some reason, if I get it from this direction, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter how much, and we had a ton of leaves in here. I mean, this thing was full. We kept putting leaves in all the time. But you know how everything composts down to, it all gets concentrated and you're left with very little depending on how much you put in. But for some reason, it all works its way this way. And we are on a slight incline, ever so slightly, but it doesn't matter how much. I always brought it back up this way. It always ended up back down here. And I have no idea why. It's so frustrating. But I'm sure it all works out anyway. So here I'm gonna dig down in here and see what we got. I don't know exactly what to expect because the chickens would always scratch around in here. but I always would have some sort of, well, I would have a Canadian night crawlers out here. You can see some of my past videos. And I really don't see much, and I'm really surprised. But then I'm not, because of all the chickens. There's just too much activity out here. And if I were to go on the other side, where under the tarp, like I used to have, and I can show you a picture in this video, but I would always have just tons of worms everywhere, handfuls of worms. So I am surprised, but yet I'm not surprised. So the smell, what's it smell like? Well, it smells a little bit like earth, yet I can smell the urine too. So I would go very light on this when adding it with soil mixture, with adding it with castings, adding it with regular garden soil and wood chips and leaves, and of course I've got all my different mixes I use, and that is also in another video. But now I'm going to scrape this out and see how much I have. Well, I did see worms. Not as many as I wanted, but that's the nature of it. And it's hard to tell with the video, but I'm pretty sure that I've got, after I'm done with the rest of it, I probably have 2 cubic yards. So, and that's gonna go a long way because it's dark, it's rich, it's got urea. So I gotta be careful with how I implement it into my garden and some ornamentals that I have. I'll bring it over to you. I think it feels, the texture is perfect. It's like worm castings. You know, you can't, of course you can't get any liquid come out of it, but it is moist and very earthy, but a lot of nutrients in there, I'm sure. Very good. I mean, I've never done this, so I can't tell you, but I'm liking it already. I have taken some of it and put it on some ornamentals, and they're I've got a rose, maybe I'll show you, but I've got a rose out there that's half the size of a dinner plate. I mean, it's huge, but I've applied it to every ornamental, and some things just haven't come up yet. But I'm going to do this again this year, add some more wood chips and leaves. And the reason why I love wood chips so much is because like perlite adds the aeration. The only difference is it has no nutritional value at all. So when you add the wood chips, think about this. you got a wood chip and you light it on fire, and it'll burn, 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 and burn, because it takes a long time to grow. Wood takes a long time to grow, and it's packed with energy, so it takes a long time to decompose as well. So when it decomposes, it's feeding the plant. It's feeding the microbes and the macrobes and the plant, and it's just ever so slowly breaking down, and it's just packed. It creates that aeration too, like perlite would. But I'm not against perlite. Perlite's good because it creates that air. It always just keeps the soil from being compacted. But I like to use wood chips. But anyway, this is the compost from 9 months ago. 9 months. That's how long it took, and I could have kept it going too. So I think, and usually what I do is I give, like I said earlier, my when I would muck out the barn, I would put it under a tarp, and that would last 6 months. So I could do that every 6 months. Of course, you could also do it in succession too, throughout the summer or throughout the winter. But I would do it in the spring, and I would do it in the fall. So I would always have some good soil to work with if I need to put around the foundation, or add to an area, or I could use it as soil amendment. He's found himself a cool spot. What you got going on in there, Nuki Bear? What are you digging? Anyway, so go back and check out the building it chicken scratch, and I talk about all the great reasons. The tree's still doing pretty good. It's of course it's what is it? It's May, so leaves are still coming out, but didn't hurt it whatsoever. So anyway, hope this helps people, and I never say like and subscribe. You guys, I mean, if somebody doesn't know to like and subscribe, they must have just now discovered the internet. But that's not me. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Polygon.